everyone. I am just doing a chit chat with you guys today. I have been struggling with my projects. So I've talked about making the blanket for my son, and I still haven't picked up that project again. I've started a couple turtlenecks, and I'm still not working on them. And I picked up some stuff out of my stash last night. I picked up this yarn that I had ordered, and it came and it was like a DK weight, and I thought it was a chunky 5. So I was really disappointed, and I don't use yarns that are that thin. I think I did try to start something with it out of green, maybe. Anyway, the yarn is called sheepjes softy, and I have 2 different colors of it right here, if I can get them out of my project. Badoop. This is it. You can see the yarn. It's a DK weight for sure, but it's very fuzzy. So it looks a lot thicker than it really is. It's quite thin. I am, hair in my mouth. Yuck. I am doubling it up right now to these 2 colors to make this new sweater that I started last night. This is the beginnings of it, but whoa, the yarn is wrapped around it. Okay. This is it so far. I'm going to hold it up so you can see that. It's just purple and pink mixed together to make a nice pattern. I really like this, and this is what it'll look like as a turtleneck. I think it's very pretty. Yeah? Okay. So, anyway, this was actually my husband's idea. So I was complaining that I had this thin yarn, and I had enough of it to double up for maybe a sweater, but it was cutting it really close, yardage-wise. And he said, well, why don't you double it up with the other color? Because I know you have several colors of it. And I said, oh, that would work, because I have enough of them to make a sweater together this way. But on its own, I didn't have quite enough to make a sweater. But I do have enough of each color to make a sweater individually if I wanted to on the single. But I won't use yarn this thin. It's very challenging for me. I don't like it. I like using my 8mm hook the most. I use it for most of my projects, and it turns out great. You know, Colorama Haze is a very thin yarn. I think it's supposed to be a worsted weight, maybe. I'm not sure, but they recommend, I think, a 5.5mm with it, or maybe a 6, a J hook, I think. But what I will tell you is that I used my 8mm with it, and I made a fabulous sweater or 2 using Colorama Haze, which I think self-stripes beautifully. I got the purple tones. I have one of each, I'm not going to lie. I did get one of each color that I liked. It's all upstairs in a box, and I hold out on using it because I'm not so inspired to make things with it right now. I really want fuzz. I want sensory yarns, and that one sure has it, but it's just not what I'm feeling like. It's a little thin, and you know, it's supposed to be on a much thinner hook than what I use, so it feels extra thin, but it makes such a beautiful sweater. So I really recommend to people that not to always stick with what a pattern says. And if you ever watch Llama Mama Kayla, she's got a great YouTube channel. She chit chats about yarn and her crafts and her life, and I really love watching her. She will often use a different size hook than a pattern says because it's more comfortable for her hands. And I really appreciate that, because I think that it's really a preference what size hook you use. And sometimes a project will come out just as good with a slightly different size hook than what you imagined. Oh no, you have fallen. I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh, I can't get you back up. This is a nightmare. Okay, there you are. I'm so sorry. I have you on the dashboard of my truck and it just fell. That happens. So I'm very sorry. But I am just crocheting a little in the sun. It was 16 degrees this morning, but this truck is like a little greenhouse. So that's one of the reasons I sit out here so often, because it's quite warm, and toasty in here. The windows are not tinted or anything. This is a pretty old truck. Someday I might talk about it. But I realize I haven't really introduced myself much, and I probably should. My name is Amy. I live in upstate New York with my husband and son. We are very rural. We live at the end of a big private drive. And we have a decent sized property, so it feels like there's not many people around, which is very nice, but it's also very lonely. I crochet a bunch for fun, and I'm hoping to start selling my goods in some way because I keep making these sweaters and I just can't keep collecting them. So I am looking for outlets for that. I am also trying to make friends, branch out and meet people. I have a lot of friends online, and I chat with them all day long, usually, and it feels like I've got a pretty large social circle because of that. And it's been great for me to live rurally and still have a very big online community of friends, a social circle, so to speak. And it's hard, I think, for a lot of people who are in my situation to meet people and make friends because you're not going out much and you're in a rural situation and you're not getting out. So I want to join a local knitting and crochet group at the library, so that I can meet more people that are interested in something that I'm interested in. All ages, totally fine with me. I love meeting people of all ages who enjoy crochet and knitting. I think it's wonderful. It's a great hobby, and people like it for all different reasons, and I love finding out why and how they got started. I find that fascinating. I taught myself how to crochet out of a vintage book. You can actually get this book on Amazon if you look it up. It's like How to Crochet, I think. And it has a picture of a woman wearing a sweater vest, and there's a bear on the cover, and I think some dishcloths, but it looks hideous. You wouldn't want to actually make any of these patterns. Even the teddy bear is not cute. So anyway, I should check and see how long this is getting before I get too carried away. Oh, I don't want to pull out my stitch. Okay. Yeah, it needs a couple more rows, 2 more rows, and it should be done. So I'm glad I checked, because otherwise I'd just sit here crocheting this all day until it was, many feet long. I just like getting lost in the crocheting. So anyway, this is sheepjes softy. I got it from Lind Hobby, and it is very soft and lovely yarn. It's just too thin for me. So I doubled it up, and I like it much better, but as you can see, it presents its own set of problems when you double up yarn, especially doubling up fuzzy yarns. It's kind of hard. But I really enjoy the challenge. I have gotten pretty used to working with fuzzy yarns, and I don't necessarily need to see my stitches. I just know where they're going to be. But it helps. I don't know. I wish I could explain, but I have gotten very used to working with very fuzzy, hard to work with yarns. It's just something I'm good at, I guess. I like it. I like trying to struggle with a yarn and make it obey. I want it to do what I want it to do. So anyway, that's really all I have to say. But thank you for joining me today and talking about my new project, which I'm actually working on and doing. It's been the first thing that's really stimulated me for a while, because I like that it is something that you will never see anywhere else. Like, I doubt I will ever see anybody wearing a turtleneck sweater that they made out of these 2 yarns exactly like mine. I think the likelihood of that is incredibly rare. But I like that I sort of came up with it on my own with my husband's fabulous help. Thank you, husband. And that it's something that I'm enjoying making. It's actually fun, and I can see a sweater being made out of this and looking really great, and me wearing it all the time, because this is actually great soft yarn. But I cannot get into this stitch. The yarn is so slippery, and it just doesn't want to go on my hook that way. Okay, 1 more row, and I will be done with this turtleneck, right? Yeah. And I can seam it up and start working in the round around the bottom. Again, I just want to stress that this is a really fun and easy pattern. And if you like turtleneck sweaters or cowl neck sweaters, whatever you like to call them, and you can make it bigger. It doesn't have to be so tight around your head or your face. You could make it a little bit looser by just adding some more rows once it touches, the ends touch behind your head. I have a sweater that I bought that has a gigantic cowl, and I have replicated that a couple times accidentally by adding extra rows and length, and it seems to work up just the same with a big cowl as it does with a small one. So this is up to you. You can add more rows to make it bigger if you want. A lot of people don't like having things around their neck, and I totally get it. And that's fine. I just am disappointed because I wish they could wear my sweaters. I want them to wear my sweaters. I have a friend who can't wear turtlenecks, and I'm so distressed because I want to make her a turtleneck. I can see her wearing this turtleneck, but she can't. So I made her a blanket instead. That seems fair, right? You know, she asked for a blanket, and I was like, all right, I can do that. And it was the first blanket that I made in a very long time. All right, so this is now ready. I'm going to double check. Oh yeah, it fits. It's perfect. It's fuzzy. It's soft. This is delightful when doubled up. It's a nice texture, and it's thick and fluffy and just delightful. I'm going to show you this as best as I can up close. With the sun on it, it's hard to see the color exactly, but it's pink and purple. Sort of a maroony purple. This is the ball. It's a maroony purple. It looks more purple when it's combined, however, with this pink yarn. So I'm going to go about my day. I have a day off from my work at home job for the most part. I get some spam calls today that I just answer, and that's the end of it. But I am hoping to go on a nice date day with my husband. And so I don't know what we're doing yet. Probably a nice walk somewhere. It's not as cold today as it has been. It was very cold this morning, meanwhile, when I walked my son to the bus. It was not nice. That's what I will say. It was not nice out. My fingers got very numb. I have to walk, a quarter of a mile out to the bus stop from our house. We have a long driveway. And I got cold. My fingers got like numb. I couldn't have crocheted, let me tell you that. They were very numb after coming back. But I toasted them back up, and everything was fine. But yeah, I kind of love this. I'm feeling really positive about this turtleneck that I started, and I'm glad to be using up my stash. Now, I have a bunch of yarn left over from projects, extras that were too much, and I don't know what to do with it. So it's good when I take stuff out of my stash because it's not stuff that's stashed for projects. It's like extra yarn. Things that I bought too much of, or I bought and then I didn't like. That has happened a lot where I've bought stuff online and didn't love it, and it was just too much of a pain to try and return it. And so I kept it. And this is one of those yarns because I was really disappointed that it was not bulkier. It really looked bulky and thick, and I stupidly didn't even look at the specs on the yarn before I bought it. So when it came, I was like, oh no, it's super thin. This is not what I wanted. But doubled up, it has worked nicely. And I've done this with a bunch of yarns that I've gotten. There was an old Hobby Lobby yarn, and I think it was called Be Cozy, and it was just a thin fleece yarn, and it came in cakes. And I found one on eBay because I don't shop at Hobby Lobby, but I did see this cake and I really liked it and I wanted to try it, but it's very thin. And for me, I had to double it up, and I started making a cardigan with it. Like a long duster cardigan, because these are big cakes. They came with like 700 and some yards, and I don't need that much to make a nice cardigan that's a duster. So anyway, I found that and I doubled it up, and I started making a project with it. But I lost interest because the colors didn't stimulate me. They were like different shades of gray and a cream. And I've discovered I do not like working with white yarn, cream yarns. Boring yarn colors don't do it for me. I do like grays. And I can work with them. They're not so boring for me, I guess. But I don't like other colors like cream. I really won't work with black unless it's like a speckled black or a sparkly black, something with more visibility to it than just plain black. All right, so my turtleneck is done. Anyway, not the whole sweater, but the turtleneck part. My yarn is stuck in the neck. There we go. See? So now I start on the yoke down here. And it's so soft. I really like this yarn. I wish that it was thicker on its own, but look at this lovely piece that I'm making. You'll never see anything else like it. It's almost zebra-y. I really like it. If I can keep it in the shade, you can see the color much better. There you go. Okay, so that's what I'm working on, everybody. And I would love to hear what you're working on today. What yarns you love, because I always want to know. Everybody has favorite yarns that they end up using all the time. So I'd love to hear what your favorite yarns are, what your current projects are, what you're, what you've just finished, what you are, going to work on next, whatever you feel like talking about project-wise. I am happy to hear it. I want to know what everybody is doing, what everybody loves, how you learn to crochet. I know a lot of people that like their grandmothers taught them, and I love that. My great-grandmother crocheted, and I never met her. She died before I was born, but she was a rather epic crocheter, and I have a blanket of hers that she made for my mom when she went off to college. And it's a lovely blanket. We call it the neck blanket. It's something you pull up around your neck when you're sick. And it's just made from like Red Heart Super Saver, and it's not the softest blanket, but it is very warm and it's very comforting. I really like knowing that she made that and that it's been passed down to me and now to my son. So Red Heart Super Saver may not be the softest yarn, but it lasts. It's washable and dryable. It comes out looking great. It doesn't pill very badly. This blanket has been well used, and it still looks brand new. So that is what I will say in defense of Red Heart Super Saver, which I do not like using. It's too rough. It feels like sandpaper on my hands. But that is the benefit of using it, is that it lasts forever. Forever and ever and ever. So that is what I will say about that. The other thing I will say is that I am very drawn to natural fiber yarns, and I know a lot of people have allergies to those, but I have found some really great alternatives using acrylic and polyester. So it's definitely possible for somebody that has allergies to wool or alpaca, which is very rare that people have allergies to alpaca, but it does happen. My aunt actually is very sensitive to alpaca, unfortunately. And to wool. She can't do wool either, but she is sensitive to alpaca, which is a disappointment because I think it's the greatest fiber out there. So anyway, there are great alternatives, and I'm happy to do a video about those alternatives if anybody is interested. I don't know. I have new yarn coming. It hasn't even shipped yet, and I'm really impatient. I ordered it from Lion Brand. It's one of their brand new yarns. There is no reviews, no information about it. Nobody has gotten it yet, and I'm dying to do a review video and let everybody know how it is, because I want to know myself, and I am looking up videos to see what other people think, and nobody has gotten it yet. So I'm really excited about my order. And I have no idea when it will come. Lion Brand inevitably takes a while to ship, it seems. I actually emailed them last night to ask when I should expect them to ship it, because it's taken a while, and I'm impatient. I'm the most impatient person when it comes to yarn. And the mail. Oh my goodness, with the mail, it's a shameful thing. Oh, here comes my puppy. Here comes my puppy. I'm going to get up for a second to let him in. Come on, puppy dog. Up, 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 up. Okay. You're on my crocheting, little dude. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, just had to get the doggo in. My husband just let him out for me. Okay, and I'm almost done with the first row of this turtleneck, and I think it's looking great. I actually really like this. This yarn has a really nice shine to it. It's shiny. It's not glittery. It's not sparkly. It's just shiny. And I really like it. I don't know if you can tell at all, but there is a slight sheen to this yarn. There you go. You can see that it's almost glittery. It's very pretty stuff. All right, everybody. So again, this is sheepjes Softy. It is a DK weight fuzzy yarn that I doubled up to make this. And I will be working on this for a while. I'm very satisfied with working on it. And it seems to be satisfying all my yarny needs. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, everybody. Sorry that you fell on the floor. Bye now.